Hello everyone, this is Mr. Hunia here today, and we are going to be going into our color theory unit. All right, so this is going to be like the last real deep dive into the whole housing and interiors thing, and we'll be working mostly with labs next week, but this will be one of your last sets of notes, so let's go ahead and dive in and study the different types of color theory. Color is obviously the most important element in a design. It's one that is oftentimes the first decision made when decorating the room. It sets the mood and then can leave a very lasting impression on most people. So much so that even in the sense of psychology, people say that if you walk into a room and everything is your favorite color, it provokes feelings that, that is what you want to surround yourself by, are the traits that you associate with your favorite color. So first we have primary colors. So these are the source of all colors and they cannot be made from mixing any other colors together. They just exist. So red, blue, and yellow. Now, remember that. Next, we have secondary, which are an equal blend of primary colors. So you have, once again, green, which is a blend of blue and yellow, orange, which is a blend of red and yellow, and violet, which is a blend of blue and red. All right, so as you see, we're slowly building and filling in these color wheels. And next we have tertiary, which are your intermediate colors. And these are an equal blend of secondary and primary colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix a primary, a secondary, and obviously we're making, not a whole lot of thought went into naming these colors. You mix red and orange, what do you get? Red orange. You mix yellow and orange, what do you get? Yellow orange. You mix yellow and green, what do you get? Yellow green. All right, so it's just mixing those colors together. And as you see, we have formed a very nice color wheel over here. But one of the biggest things that comes into design is when you mix these colors together, not from the standpoint of actually mixing them, but you have different colors in a room and what kind of vibe that sets off. And there are actually ways of pointing this out on the color wheel to take a look at it. So let's move on with that. So before we do that, we do want to go and have neutral, which are typically equal parts of the primary colors. So your white, your grays, and your black. So when you mix all the primary colors together, typically you will end up with whites, grays, or blacks. And these are what are known as neutral. So now we're going into different types of color schemes, which are very important. So when you look at the color wheel, the first one we have is complementary, which are two colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So as we see here, we got the Christmas vibes with the red and the green. And this is one of the reasons why these Christmas vibes exist the way they do and why you see a lot of them, because they're exact opposite. They obviously give that sort of feel. So as you see, different complementary colors exist across the spectrum of the color wheel. Next, you have what's called split complementary, which is a color and two of the colors that are next to the complementary color. So where we see now is now we're looking at your complementary colors, but we're going and using the colors that are next to those complementary colors. So once again, you see more of that vibe right there where, once again, it's like your red is your main, but your opposite's falling in line with the the two colors that are next to that complementary color. So next we have values, which is the amount of black and white in a color, and many of these colors are created by adding white or black to color on the color wheel. So whenever you add white to a color, you're creating a sense of tint. However, when you add black to a color, you end up creating a sense of shade. So here we're actually experimenting with values. So you can still have, for example, complementary colors, but when you start adding whites and stuff or blacks and stuff, what happens is you're darkening or lightening those colors. So they can still be complementary, but just with different shades or tints. So going back in with the color scheme, once again, this is a systematic way of putting it together. So there are the types. So we have monochromatic, analogous, and then contrast, which obviously we just kind of went over a little. So your monochromatics are, once again, it is one color and its value. So as you see, we kind of have, I guess, a bluish color here. And so you have this blue, but it's different shades of and tints of blue. So, sometimes when people put outfits together, they may, wear, different shades of blue throughout the entire outfit or different shades of red. So you may see them wear dark red but accent it with a light pink. So therefore it's having a more monochromatic look. Next we have analogous, which is 3 to 5 colors that are adjacent to each other on the color wheel, and this combination does provide very little contrast. It's very, very seamless. So as you see, we have red, and then it goes all the way through to yellow. So it's more of an analogous type of color scheme. And you have the contrast, which are contrasting. Once again, just a quick review. You have complementary, 2 that are apart from each other on the color wheel. Then you have split, which, as you see here, uses the color and the 2 colors that are next to the complementary color. And then finally, you have what's called the triadic, which uses 3 colors equally spaced out on the color wheel. So it's kind of hard to see a little bit, but as you notice, we're looking and you have 3 different colors that are being selected here, and they're equally spaced out on the color wheel from that standpoint. And then finally, you have a color wheel that is known as the neutral and accent, which uses white, gray, or black, or any of these neutral tones, and then a color from the color wheel. So, for example, in an outfit, you may wear all black, but maybe wear like a pop of color. Or, for example, you may see a guy wearing an all black suit with a white shirt, and then he'll wear like a colored pocket square or a colored tie. So therefore, that provides that accent according to or in accordance with the neutral colors that you have here. So at this point, that's going to conclude your notes for today. So go ahead and submit, and we'll get on with the assignment.